So I watched. I watched Batman Begins, where Bruce Wayne decided to be hypothetically poor because.
Okay, all right, I got one. Would you rather be a hobo with a 5% chance of getting inherited by a rich guy, or be Hitler 2 years before the end of World War II?
So he can be rich again and have even more problems.
What about escalation?
Escalation.
Batman Begins follows Bruce Wayne's journey to becoming Batman. After witnessing his parents being shot in an alley as a child, Bruce grew up with an anger inside him.
So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
Don't compare. Wait a minute. Don't compare. Don't compare yourself to me.
They would
ever.
never make
you
you
are
walk in a
not
dress
on my
that
level,
much
Nicole.
longer.
You never will be on my level. Do not compare yourself to me.
That he wanted to quench with revenge as an adult by shooting the man that shot his parents. Unfortunately, or fortunately I suppose, Bruce was robbed of this payback by one Carmine Falcone, who had Joe Chill killed before Bruce could, which also happened right in front of his eyes. After confronting Falcone for his injustice, Falcone got into Bruce's head by telling him that he is too rich to understand or know hardship.
Am I a blue state or a red state hobo?
Bruce then disappears for several years, emulating the life of an indigent. While in a foreign prison, Bruce is approached by Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, Raoul al Ghul.
Mr. Griffin, I'm not quite sure how to say this. Kim Basinger? Basinger?
Guys, there's Henry Ducard, inviting him to join the League of Shadows. Bruce accepts and impresses, however, refuses to perform the final step towards being an official member of the League. This thus makes Bruce Wayne an enemy of the League of Shadows. Bruce then returns to Gotham a new man in his private jet, poor sod, ready to be rich again and help clean up Gotham as Batman, with help from people such as Alfred Pennyworth, his blunt, wise, loving, and rather funny butler/guardian, Jim Gordon as well, one of Gotham's few good cops, as well as Rachel Dawes, Bruce's childhood friend and love interest, who is now a lawyer.
He almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm prison.
Batman, in a justified turn of justice, then takes on Carmine Falcone, as well as Dr. Jonathan Crane, who are flooding Gotham through the Narrows with drugs, and defeats them. However, he discovers that they were only middlemen for
Kim Basinger? Basinger?
That is, Ra's al Ghul, who he thought had died. With Ra's still alive, the League of Shadows in the light, and trying to destroy Gotham through a vaporized fear-inducing agent, and Batman equipped with the Batmobile that comes in black, a face-off ensues, with the destruction or survival of all of Gotham at stake. Batman Begins is serious enough to not take itself too seriously to a very satisfying extent, which I think is an excellent approach because it adds significantly towards the effectiveness of the movie. This film is thick on story, allowing thus for constant rejuvenation of engagement and interest from the viewer, though admittedly, at some points, it can tend to feel a little
Benedict Bumberbatch, Benedict Chunderbatch, Benedict Cabbage Patch, Benedict Cumberbins.
Cumbersome, but that's a small price to pay vis-a-vis the project in its entirety. You see what I did there? I used vis-a-vis as a kind of pun in connection to the word pay. Funny, right? Okay, so maybe my humor sucks.
And when we talk about things here, we must only discuss work-associated things. And you can consider this my retirement from comedy.
However, with Batman Begins, humor is something else that it got right and used it effectively, in fact, incredibly well, as a well-timed palate cleanser, in large part through Alfred and the excellent execution by Michael Caine. It also helped Bruce Wayne become a bit more grounded and relatable, though I mean, Bruce Wayne will always be Bruce Wayne, you know? Because I mean, unless you're Tony Stark, or let's face it, Robert Downey Jr., or a Nepo baby, relatability to Bruce Wayne is about as close as Blade is to filming.
Sure you're ready for that?
Marvel Studios. Christian Bale for me was a great Batman and Bruce Wayne, while the tone of the movie really contributed towards illustrating the stoicism so central to Bruce. In my opinion, and I believe that this is an instance where opinion is applicable, as the answer varying from person to person can make sense, Christian Bale is the best Batman Bruce Wayne we've seen in live action, and he established that position immediately in Batman Begins and continued it throughout the Dark Knight trilogy. He demonstrates the command and lingering helplessness of Bruce Wayne very well, while plausibly embodying Batman's demeanor and presence. Apart from Batman and Alfred, the rest of the casting was also really good, with Morgan Freeman portraying an awesome Lucius awesomely, who also added tremendously and with excellent subtlety to the humor of the film. While I feel Katie Holmes was received a bit too harshly. I mean, it's not like she was this.
He almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest.
Right? The score was an appropriate concoction of being aggressive, emotive, intimidating, and cinematic, and thus helped the story in its effort to captivate and capture the audience. And speaking of capturing the audience, the movie presented a concept that I think really captures the nature of humanity.
What about escalation?
Escalation.
Escalation was a concept that ultimately was silently at the core of the movie, and in fact is a cornerstone of Batman's inception, because Gotham is a mess. And thus even managed to be an excellent segue into The Dark Knight, and I think that was a great catch and connection from Batman Begins. While the concept of escalation could appear as being the notion of improvement, escalation, I think, is a tool rather that can be used to achieve improvement, just as it's a tool that can be used to achieve deterioration, which is what the League was heedlessly using it for, towards imagined improvement, and Batman was inadvertently using it for, thinking it was improvement, hence the Joker. I find the idea rather noteworthy because I wonder if it's worth considering perhaps if escalation is far too often confused for improvement, and if it may be present in pretty much everything like technology, media, politics, education, and their convergence, where infobesity, censorship, control, and enlightenment among other aspects are perhaps driven by escalation guised as improvement, which can risk imperceptible deterioration. Is it that improvement makes matters better? Thus, Batman would have not inspired a Joker, while escalation makes things more of what they are, until maybe they're not that which they were anymore, which is why Gotham is getting more chaotic, and why Rachel may have even suggested that the mask Bruce is wearing is of Bruce, as he has become more of the dark that he is, instead of a better version of himself, until he wasn't himself anymore and became Batman wearing Bruce's face as a mask. Hence, too much of a good thing, like escalation as a tool for improvement, can certainly be or turn bad, or infect what was good, causing escalation to destroy. And I'm not looking at you, Fast and Furious, or the Multiverse Saga, or the Matrix Resurrections, and hopefully not you, Joker 2.
Our team is coming apart because of your singing thing.
Just joking. Joker 2 actually looks pretty interesting. Anyway, Batman Begins is not perfect, however. Its cinematography, from a lighting aspect I suppose, as well as the set production, at points felt dull and flat. Also, from a color perspective, which again may speak to the cinematography, Batman has a dusty, dry, and monochromatic feel about it that compromises the movie's aesthetic integrity and one's ability to fully immerse themselves into the movie. Thus, its color palette, set design, and at points the story too, as well as the final battle, visually that is, and in terms of its length, caved in a little, in an otherwise really well-made movie that accommodated the birth of the Bat amazingly. So, all in all, Batman begins Batman on a good batting note from the beginning, with the batsmen like Nolan, Bale, and Zimmer batting a good score, thus beginning the trilogy on strong and solid ground, flying the Batman story high like a bat, man. Now, with one Joker becoming a vampire, another Joker having almost played a vampire becoming a Batman, and a Batman seemingly having had their soul sucked out slowly like a vampire. Who knows? Maybe one day Bale may be open and willing to get a taste of that.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
Mwah!